assignment. Burglary to motor vehicle report only.
205-206, I got a call, a man with a gun.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our latest edition of Local Police Blotter. My name is Larry Pinsack, and I'm with the Glendale Heights Police Department. Tonight, we're going to lead off Blotter with the Wooddale report and Detective Ron Murray. Ron.
Thanks, Larry. The Wooddale Police Department is currently investigating the following cases. The first is an arson that occurred on Saturday, September 6th at approximately 10:30 p.m. A black 1982 Chevy Corvette was set on fire while it was parked in the parking lot of the Agape Church, which is located at 140 North Hemlock. Witnesses related to officers that a vehicle was seen speeding away from the parking lot of the church. However, a better description of the vehicle and/or offenders could not be obtained. It appears that unknown offenders poured a flammable liquid on the hood of the Corvette and ignited the liquid, causing the hood of the vehicle to be completely engulfed in flames. The fire department did arrive to the scene and extinguished the fire without injury to anybody. Any residents that reside in the area of the Agape Church are asked to call the police department if they saw any suspicious activity on the night of September 6th at approximately 10:30 p.m. Or contact the Blotter hotline at 529-7274. Just a little footnote to this, approximately a half an hour prior to this, the Bensonville Police Department experienced a similar type fire to another vehicle owned by the same victim. So we're looking into possibly a hate crime to this victim. The next case I'd like to profile is a residential burglary. This occurred at 478 Foster on Friday, September 5th between the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 noon. Unknown offenders entered the home by breaking a basement window while the residents were at work. Taken from the home was a VCR, a wicker basket, a bottle of vodka, and an unknown amount of jewelry. Also, the family cat is missing. We don't believe the offenders took the cat. The cat may have ran off through the broken window. The unknown offenders did exit out a back door. One little strange occurrence while the offender was in the house, the homeowner discovered that the offender vomited in one of the unused first bedroom, one of the bedrooms that was located on the first floor. So kind of strange. We have no suspect information at that time. The next incident is a burglary to motor vehicle that occurred on Wednesday, September 3rd between 2 p.m. and 2:05 p.m. The victim related that his 1993 Chevy Corsica was parked in front of 153 Front Street, which is a small strip mall located along Irving Park Road. The windows were down and the doors were unlocked at the time of the theft. Taken from the vehicle was a Gucci purse valued at $400, a cellular telephone valued at $200, and various personal items. The victim did have about $180 in U.S. currency in her purse at the time. The next case is another burglary to motor vehicle that occurred on Tuesday, September 9th between 7 a.m. and 8:35 a.m. The vehicle, a 1978 Ford pickup truck, was parked at 795 Middle, which is in our industrial park. While the victim was doing some landscaping, The victim's vehicle was entered and a Motorola Nextel cellular phone was removed. The cellular phone does belong to the landscaping company and not to the victim of the vehicle. And the last case I'd like to profile is a theft of a bicycle, which was taken from the garage of 425 Elmhurst sometime between the dates of Monday, September 1st to Tuesday, September 2nd, between the times of 4 p.m. to 4 p.m. the following day. Unknown offenders entered the garage and removed a purple and black Huffy mountain bike from a hook which hung the bike from the rafters of the garage. The garage does not have a door, which made access to the garage very easy. The bicycle is valued at $275, and that's all that Wooddale has to report this week.
Okay, good. Thanks, Ron. I also have some stolen bicycles to report as well, and it seems to be the season for it this September. Thank you. Now we're going to turn to the Carroll Stream Police Department, and joining us for the first time on Local Police Blotter is Officer Tony Petragallo. Tony.
Hi, and thank you. The Carroll Stream Police Department is currently investigating a burglary of a motor vehicle in the 1300 block of Portsmouth. The victim stated that on September 7th, between the hours of 3:15 in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, an unknown offender entered her unlocked 1984 Buick Real and removed a Sony AM/FM cassette boombox along with 25 miscellaneous cassettes. The total estimated value was $150. Carroll Stream is also investigating a theft at the 900 block of Kuhn Road, which is the Heritage Presbyterian Church. The victim stated that between the dates of August 17th and August 24th, unknown subjects entered the inside of the unlocked church office and removed $158 in U.S. currency from the unlocked filing cabinet. The investigating officer did not find any signs of forced entry into the church, leading one to believe that the theft took place sometime while the church was during business hours. And finally, the Carroll Stream Police Department is investigating a theft which occurred on the cross streets of Mission and Center. The victim stated that between the dates of September 2nd and September 3rd, between the hours of 5 o'clock in the afternoon and 6 o'clock in the morning, 15 sheets of 4x8 by 1/2 CDX plywood was removed from a building under construction. The total estimated loss was $135. And that's all Carroll Stream has.
Okay, we're not going to let you off the hook just yet. Would you take a minute and tell the viewers what you do with the Carroll Stream Police Department?
Well, Larry, I'm currently on the Community Problem-Oriented Policing Unit for Carroll Stream. We have 3 other members in our unit, and we typically go to neighborhood watch programs throughout the town. We are involved in the biking patrol that I know we've gone past you a few times while we've been out on the streets. We also deal with concerns in the community, neighborhood problems that typically the unit officers wouldn't have the time to investigate. That's pretty much what our unit does in about a minute's time. I could probably talk for about half an hour, but I know it's only a half an hour show.
Mm-hmm. And I did catch you off guard. I'm sorry for that. Next time I'll prep you before I ask you those hard questions. Now we're going to turn to the Glendale Heights report. The Glendale Heights police continue to investigate a rash of bicycle thefts throughout the village. On August 9th, a victim reported that sometime between August 7th and August 9th, someone entered her garage and removed her son's purple 20-inch Dyno Air dirt bike, which has a retail value of $240. The garage door had been left open intermittently during this time, so we really are not sure when the bicycle was taken. Fortunately, the victim was able to provide us with a serial number for this bicycle. We strongly urge you to keep your bicycles locked at all times, even if you have them in your garage, because we are seeing a lot of bicycles taken from garages. Also, after being stolen, dyno bicycles especially are being stripped down and resold as individual components, which are impossible for us to trace. I'm talking about things like brakes, seats, handlebars, tires and wheels, and we've seen these parts end up on other bicycles, and it's very hard for us to prove a case on that. And it's also hard for us to return to an owner a stripped frame, because that doesn't do the owner much good. So please lock those bicycles. The Glendale Heights Police also took another burglary to a garage on Saturday, September 6th at the Glenlake Club Apartments, which are near President and North Avenue. The victim reported that sometime between September 4th and September 6th, someone entered the common garage area near 62 Medina Circle and removed 2 Sears Craftsman toolboxes containing hand tools. One of the toolboxes was gray metal and the other was black plastic. And none of the tools had any identifying marks on them. The victim shares his garage with 2 other residents, and we're not sure at this time if the garage had been secured or not, and this case is still under investigation. We are also investigating the theft of 28 cases of Pepsi Cola from the mobile gas station, which is 1202 North Bloomingdale Road on the corner of North Avenue. On Tuesday, August 12th at 4:28 p.m., a male white subject entered the gas station store and asked the clerk where a nearby town was. And the clerk was giving the subject directions. The clerk then noticed that a case of Pepsi was being taken off a stack of cases right outside the front door of the store. The clerk went outside and was followed by the subject asking the directions. The clerk then saw the male white driver of a red Honda Accord placing the case of Pepsi inside the Honda, and then saw that the Honda was entirely filled with cases of Pepsi. The subject who was asking the directions then grabbed another case of Pepsi, and both of them got into the Honda and drove off. The clerk later found that 28 cases of Pepsi Cola were missing, with a total value of $530. We also found out that the Bloomingdale police experienced a similar theft at a gas station in their town sometime during that week. The car is described as a dark 1980s Honda Accord 2-door hatchback, unknown license plates. The driver is described as a male white, 25 to 30 years old, 5 foot 8 inches with blonde hair. And his passenger is a male white, 25 to 30 years old, 5 foot 8 inches, 140 pounds, with blonde hair, and he was wearing black jeans and a beige t-shirt. If you have any knowledge about these subjects or witnessed this incident, please call us at the Blotter hotline, 529-7274. This one I just received today. On Tuesday, September 16th, we took a report of a stolen John Deere Bobcat digger from a construction site on the 800 block of North Avenue, the old location of Rand Pool and Patio. The theft occurred between 3 o'clock p.m. on September 15th and 6:15 a.m. on September 16th. The yellow Bobcat has a value of $21,000. It had its key in the ignition, but the outside doors were padlocked. We have no suspects in this incident, and we're asking if anyone in that area saw anybody suspicious near the construction site, please call us at the Blotter hotline. And last, I want to do a follow-up about some of the indecent exposure cases that I've profiled on Blotter these past months. These were the cases that occurred at Blackhawk School, at 551 James Court and 559 Sydney over this past summer. The Glendale Heights Police recently arrested Robert V. Dorado, a white male, 46 years old, whose last known address is in Palatine, Illinois. Mr. Dorado has 40 prior arrests, including several public indecency charges. And we made this arrest with the assistance of the Village of Round Lake Police Department. And he's facing these charges, several charges, and they're due to go before the DuPage County Grand Jury during the week of September 15th. So I'm happy to say that we did have some closure on these cases that we reported to you. And with that, I'm now going to turn to the Detective Randy Sater from the Bloomingdale Police Department. Randy.
Thank you, Larry. And follow up to your case with the theft of the Pepsi, we did have a couple occurrences at our Thornton's gas station on Lake Street. The same type of taking the Pepsi diversion type techniques where they one person would divert the attention of the clerk and then the other person would perhaps, or in that particular case, took the Pepsi, put it in the car. We had a different vehicle description, but it sounds like the two gentlemen were probably the same and using different vehicles. So if you see anything on anything suspicious like that, please call your local police department and report it right away so we can catch these guys. I'd like to start off with a robbery that occurred on Thursday night, September the 11th, at approximately 11:15 p.m. This occurred at 144 South Gary Avenue. That's our Dominick's store. We're looking for a suspect as a male white, approximately 17 to 19 years of age. He's 5'10" and 160 pounds. And what this individual did was, we had a 34-year-old Carroll Stream woman that reported that while she was walking through the grocery store parking lot towards her vehicle, the suspect had stopped her and asked her for directions. The complainant then stated that when she started to give the directions to the suspect, he grabbed her purse, which contained approximately $40 in cash, and then fled the scene on foot. We searched the area right away, weren't able to locate this suspect. But if you were out there, you know anything about this case, please call our Bloomingdale Police Department. The second case I'd like to profile is a residential burglary that occurred on the 200 block of Nordic Drive. In this case, a 31-year-old Bloomingdale man reported at sometime between 4 o'clock p.m. on Tuesday, September the 2nd, and 9:55 a.m. on Wednesday, September the 3rd, that a person unknown had gained entry into his locked apartment and removed a pair of diamond earrings valued at $700. The complainant also stated that the offender had removed his daughter's Huffy brand bicycle valued at $200 from underneath the stairs of the apartment building. We also had another residential burglary. This occurred on the 100 block of Old Gary Avenue. A 72-year-old Bloomingdale woman had reported at some time between 2 o'clock p.m. on Wednesday, September the 10th, and 7:15 a.m. on Thursday, September 11th, that a person had gained entry into her home by forcing open a kitchen window. And once inside the residence, the offender in this case removed a VCR valued at approximately $200. Again, if you know anything about these two residential burglaries, please call the Bloomingdale Police Department or our Blotter hotline. The next case I'd like to profile is actually two. We have two criminal damage to vehicles, both occurring at Stratford Square. The first in Lot B. This was on September the 3rd, sometime between 6 o'clock in the evening and 7:20 in the evening on Wednesday the 3rd of September. An unknown person has scratched the paint of a Nissan Sentra and flattened two tires, causing a total damage of approximately $1,200. This vehicle was parked, it was locked, and it was unattended in Lot B. The second incident, again in Lot D at Stratford Square, this one occurred on September the 13th, sometime between noon and 1:45 p.m. An unknown person had scratched paint on all sides of a 1992 Honda Accord, causing $2,000 in damage while it was parked in Lot D. It was locked up and it was unattended. The last case I'd like to profile today is a case we profiled last week's show. This was a retail theft that occurred at Sears at 5 Stratford Square. In this case, as you'll see here, we have a male white. He's approximately 25 years of age, 5'9", 170 pounds, and a mustache. He was seen with video cameras, observed taking approximately 20 pairs of pants and stuffing into a bag and literally walking out of the store with these. Once he walked out of the store, he was seen leaving in a newer model Chevy Camaro, and this was all done very quickly, and by the time security personnel from Sears was able to try to apprehend the person, he was already leaving in the vehicle. So here's a snapshot of the video that we have that was taken on this. If you know this particular person, please contact again the Bloomingdale Police Department. And also during the past couple weeks, I wanted to report that we had approximately 11 car burglaries that happened in Bloomingdale. And of these car burglaries, they were at several different locations, no one specific spot. Several of them occurred at Stratford. But we had several of those car burglaries, and 9 of those 11, the vehicles were unlocked. Taken from these cars, again, cell phones. A couple cases we had purses that were left out on the front seats. I can't tell you and stress this enough to please make sure your cars are at all times they're locked up, and that any valuables you have inside are hidden or in the trunk. And lastly, we have a female self-defense training taking place in Bloomingdale. We have classes are being developed for 2 programs in female self-defense training. One of the classes is for mothers and daughters. high school juniors and seniors. The other is for adult females. These classes are restricted to Bloomingdale residents. Each program will consist of 5 3-hour sessions. The first session is a lecture-type format, and in the following 4 we're going to consist of self-defense type activities. These classes are going to be taught by our Deputy Chief Chuck Mader in the Police Department training room. The classes and dates, times have not been selected yet, but will be done on based upon responses that we receive. If you're interested in any of these type of classes, please contact Donna Haluta at the Police Department at 529-9868. And Larry, that's all I have to profile today from Bloomingdale.
Okay, good. That self-defense class sounds very interesting.
Yes, Chuck is a very, Deputy Chief Mader is very, very well versed in this self-defense type training, and he does, he gives it to our officers on a yearly basis. We receive a lot of training in it, and he wants to expand it even out into the public more, and he's done this in the past, and we've always generally had pretty good response with it.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like Bloomingdale does a lot as far as educating the public. You have that and the 2 police academies that you're running right now.
Right. We have a Street Smart Seniors program, which we're in the process of running right now. We're also in our 3rd or 4th week now of our Citizen Police Academy class, and there's been such response for that people want me to come up with a Citizens Police Academy 2 class. So that's something I'm going to have to come up with some more things to, again, more topics for the hungry citizens of Bloomingdale.
And it's just snowballing, isn't it?
Just keep snowballing.
Okay, thanks a lot, Randy. Now we'll also turn to the DuPage County Sheriff's Department and Sergeant Al Batillion, who also taped his segment earlier.
Thank you, Larry. For the DuPage County Sheriff's Office, my report this evening, I've got a few items that I'd like to profile. First, I've got a burglary that occurred in Medina, 22 West 205 Poplar, and a number of items were taken. This occurred between 9 o'clock in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and forced entry was made into this residence. If anyone had seen anything or had any information on this one, we'd like to know about that. My second item here is in Addison Township, the address 2 North 154 Lundy. It's in Addison Township. This burglary occurred between 7 in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, strictly a daytime burglary. And this incident was involved with a suspect entering the residence through an unlocked door, an unlocked front door. We've talked before on the blotter about securing your homes and making sure they're locked, and burglaries do occur during the daytime when people are gone, and also at night when people are on vacation. Next item occurred on Sunday, September 14th in the evening hours. One of our patrol officers was doing a security check at the Kuhn trucking company on North Avenue. It's just outside of Carroll Stream by Prince Crossing Road there. Someone had cut the lock on the back fence and the chain link fence and entered the property. A number of heavy construction vehicles were taken, along with the large construction type vehicle tires, those very large tires. This occurred, we think, sometime in the evening hours, late afternoon, evening hours on Sunday, September 14th. We've developed 2 suspects in this case, but we need help from our viewers if anyone had seen anything in the area on Sunday, September 14th, and that's at the Kuhn Trucking Company near Carroll Stream there in unincorporated, I believe that's Winfield or Wayne Township there. And then I've got 2 public service reminders here. First of all, we had a vehicle in Villa Park that was taken about 2 weeks ago, and it was a 1986 Camaro. It was in very good condition. The victims and the police that solicited the area found out that some people from the Maywood area had been in the area, and the credit card that was left in the car had been used in the Maywood area. The victim, along with the Maywood police, were able to locate that car in Maywood parked behind a school. The suspect had taken the license plates off of the car and put his own license plates on the car, an unusual type of theft. And he also secured the car with a locking device so that no one else could steal this car, which he had stolen. He was arrested in Cook County, and charges are pending on that. So there was a happy outcome, just minor damage to the car. The license plates on the car registered to the suspect, and when we went to the suspect's apartment, we found the original license plates from the victim's car there. So it was a happy ending to that one. And my big public service announcement in the fall is with the time changes and sunset coming sooner, children playing on the streets and coming home from school, if we could all drive carefully, especially in the subdivisions, and take a little extra effort in consideration of that statewide driver courtesy strategy that we talked about on the last police blotter show. If we could all work on that, we might be able to save some injuries and some lives. And remind you that if you have information on any of these things that I've talked about this evening, if you'd call the DuPage Sheriff's Office at 682-7256 or the Police Blotter Hotline. And that's my report for tonight, Larry. Thank you.
Thanks, Al, for your report, and again, we hope to see you at our next taping. And now for the warrants portion of the program. Tonight, the Wooddale Police Department has a couple of warrants to show you. So, Ron, would you show us those?
Thanks, Larry. We have two we're going to profile tonight. The first, we're looking for John A. Matias. He's wanted for failure to pay fine on the charge of possession of cannabis. The bail is set at $1,000, which he could bail out on 10%. John Matias' last known address is 479 Royal Oaks Drive in Wooddale. He's described as a male white with a date of birth of 2/20/76, which makes him 21 years of age. He's 6 feet tall, weighs approximately 202 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. If you know the whereabouts of John, why don't you inform him to turn himself in and we can take care of it on a low-key manner. The next subject wanted is a Mark Sheehan. He's wanted for failure to appear on the charge of a DUI. His bail is set at $5,000, and again, 10% applies to that. Mr. Sheehan's last known address is 293 Hoover, apartment 3, which is located in Wooddale. He's a male white with a date of birth of 6/17/57, which makes him 40 years of age. He's 5'10", 150 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. Again, if you know the whereabouts of Mark, or if Mark, you're watching the show, just turn yourself in and we'll take care of matters. But that's all I have as far as wanted this week.
Okay, and that's all we have for warrants. I just wanted to say that, yeah, if you do have a warrant and you see it profiled on the show, or if you just have a warrant, just walk yourself over to your local police department with your bond money, and we'll take care of it right there on the spot. You won't have to sit in jail or anything like that. Last, I just want to close the show by reminding viewers, if you want to call the Blotter hotline and ask questions about things like warrants or anything related to police work, we're welcoming your calls. If we use your call or your question on the show, we will provide you with a nice gift, such as a piece of Dare merchandise, a hat or a t-shirt. But we would like to hear from viewers what you think about us, and if you have any questions that we can answer on the show. So with that, I will say good evening, and thank you for watching Local Police Blotter.